Okay, hi there boys and girls and welcome back to the channel. Right, something new from me this week. We're going to be covering Qlash €50 Pro Scrims. So new event for me, familiar with some of the teams, but it's a new event for me, so hoping everything goes okay. We had a bit of a pre-match glitch there, but the less said about that, the better. And as always this evening, I shall be joined by my good buddy and co-caster, Jammy the Spamster Gaming. How are we doing, Jammy?
Good, thanks, Vimes. Really looking forward to this one. As you say, it's something new for us. We've watched some of these teams before, but we've never
Yeah.
cast the Qlash Pro Scrims.
Yep. Should be an interesting one. Now, game number one's going to be on Erangel, and we've got plenty of people in the room now. What, 67 players so far? We've got a nice full lobby. 80. No, sorry. We've got a nice full slots of teams. We've got Qlash in there, World of Wonders, LMV, Slime 4KT, S2G Esports, Respect Esports, Alpha Legends, Natus, Vincere, Armed Family. Good fun, I suppose. Blaze, Surreal Esports, Team Bitcoin, Gunny U, Footballist, Fast Pay, Wildcats, Next Ria Gaming, Enlighten, and Night Target EU. So fantastic lobby full of players. No doubt we're going to have loads of fun and hopefully plenty of good action to stream for you wonderful boys and girls. So interesting. Well, we've got our map lineup for tonight is Erangel, Sarnock, Miramar, and Erangel. So 4 matches for you this evening. So we're just a few minutes off the start of match number 1, I think. So it should be in for a fun night, Jammy.
Yeah, really looking forward to this one. Nice mix of maps as always. As usual, we don't get Vikendi, but we won't talk about that one tonight.
No, I think it's the last day tomorrow, isn't it, for the Vikendi map?
I believe it is. So yeah, 7th we get Karakin, of course. But yeah, we're going to be having some fun and games on the 3 maps that we normally run. Yeah, looking forward to it. It'd be interesting to see. We often see, especially when we have a double Erangel, you often see a difference between the first and the last game.
Yeah.
In terms of the aggression, people feeling themselves out. These teams play against each other quite a lot, and they're pro teams, so they know how each other plays. They know where they're going. They know probably where their opponents are going as well.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, will we see very tactical to begin with, and teams, respecting the drop areas and the loot locations? Or will we just see people not caring about that and going for it at the beginning?
Well, we'll have to see. We're only a few minutes off now. I think we're trying to load into the lobby area, so hopefully we're only a few minutes away from the plane.
Yep, so, just loaded into the lobby now. Excellent.
You have. I'm still having a heart attack over here. Okay. Come on. Be nice to Daddy. No, really. No, honestly. Just load up now, please. Thank you.
It's fine. It's all good.
It's all good. It's all good.
And we forgot about the shenanigans you get at the beginning.
Oh, I do love the shenanigans at the beginning. Okay, so we're on the plane. And okay, let's have a look at our friends from Qlash, our hosts for this evening, team number 3. And let's just have a quick look at the map. And, interesting, Jammy. We've got a west to east flight line. We've already got some early jumpers. We're going straight over Gatka Pachinki and ended up around the prison and Milta Power area. So pretty much hit most of the decent spots from there, mate.
Yeah, so this will be ideal for these teams. For a first match, you want a benign flight line so that you can go to your primary location. They'll be happy with this one, and we'll see teams probably spread out. I'd imagine we'll get a fairly even spread. We see LMV, the only ones heading down to the southwest. A couple of teams heading up to the Georgia Pole, and hospital area. So it'll be really important for this, with it being such a plain flight path, not plain as an aeroplane, plain as
Oh,
in
nice.
normal,
I like it, mate. It's good.
ordinary.
It's
Oh dear. The first zone's going to be all important with this one.
good. Yeah. Okay, so our hosts for this evening, they are off the plane. Looks like they've got a little bit of a split going on, going towards the prison area. And we're gonna looks like we may well have some action up by Georgia Pole pretty quickly, so we're going to quickly head over there.
We have got BTC and 4KT over at the towards the crates, and they're heading east of the crates. Actually, they're on the bridges.
So
Now,
yeah, 4KT already on the deck. Looks like BTC are flying a little bit over. One of our friends here already managed to pick himself up a Mini 14, and he's got looks at these guys coming down on the chute, so he can go around straight away. I don't think he connected with any, but certainly letting them know that they're not alone.
yeah, they're not going to make it easy for them here. So what we also have, just an extra bit of information over at the hospital area. We have Team 20, which is Night Target EU, and Footballists Team 16. They're having a little scrap. They landed over at the hospital area, and I think Footballists have actually they've lost one player, and they've got 2 players knocked already as well. NT doing some really good work early game.
So we're here with one of our friends from Footballers, and yet we've got 1 dead and 2 knocked. So these guys have had a very rough drop coming down. They're into it with squad number 20. That's Night Target. So looks like these guys were somewhat split on the drop. Now here we come in and bang, straight through the window. What a piece of action there. And that is Footballist, our first team out of the evening. And you have to give it to our friends from Night Target there. These guys were not messing around at the start of game 1.
No, they dropped into hospital together. They established the knock, finished the kill very quickly, got the second knock established, and then just followed that up with the third and a fourth. Really like a wave almost. Really, really aggressive early gameplay.
That was some impressive shooting through the window there from the moving vehicle, I've got to say. Loving some of that.
Yeah, so just the overview at the moment. We do have our first zone, of course. It is centered around just south of Gatka at the moment. So the teams that jumped early, of which there was really only 4 or 5 really that jumped early. The LMV down in Primorsk, absolutely on their own in the southern half of the zone. A few teams up in the northern part, but we have a lot of teams on the eastern side of the map, outside of zone, that are going to have to decide whether they rotate early or whether they risk looting more and taking a late rotation in.
Yep. Okay. So we're here at Yasnaya. We got Alpha and World of Wonders on virtually opposite sides of the road here. It doesn't look like anybody's engaging at this moment in time. Does look like we've got some action down here though. Let's have a look at what the situation is. We're here with our friends from squad number 12. That's Armed Family. Now looks like they've got 1 player knocked, and they're getting into it with our host by the evening. That's Qlash.
Good share there from Blaze, getting some shots into Trazen from Qlash.
So these guys not messing about early game. Footballist going out early already. These guys exchanging rounds, and our friend here has been knocked. Some great shooting from Trazen there.
Yeah, really good work. That was unfortunately couldn't establish the knock and paid for it then with Trazen knowing exactly where he was, and finished off with a vehicle as well.
That's some pretty harsh work. So Trazen there with a great spray with the Scar out. And setting themselves up on this, setting themselves up at this, giving themselves a little bit of elevation here. And you feel now they're going to come in and try and push this one. Trazen coming under some fire, but that is more knocks being established.
And Savian, the last remaining player on his team, playing, trying to get the off angle with a DP28, but they know exactly where he is. He was trying to play a clever angle there, but it did not work for him. He's out in the open trying to get across to them.
So Savian
lost the pressure.
Savian really under the pressure here. 2 teammates knocked, 1 dead. And they've certainly got his location. It's the only piece of cover he's got. Now, Trazen just peeking from the right-hand side of that rock there. And Savian taking some more rounds.
Just the slightest peek, and they're taking him. They're coming in on the push now as well.
And here comes the push with the flank on the vehicle. So basically making sure that this guy's got nowhere to hide. He's basically trying to get inside the hut. He manages it just about, but this is getting to be a very, very small map for our poor friend from team number 12 here.
Yeah, Savian there. Really, the only thing he could do last second was get into the hut. But he's got no meds now. He's in a lot of trouble.
And there we go. And that is a great piece finishing there. So that is 4 kills established for our host for this evening. That's from Qlash. So great work from those guys.
So we do have a couple of teams up in Yasnaya at the moment, or I think one of them, Team 9 Alpha Legends, are actually planning to rotate away because they are obviously outside zone. They're sharing Yasnaya with World of Wonders Team 4 at the moment. But I think they're readying themselves on this southeastern edge to make their way across the fields or rotate across the northern side into zone.
Yep, these two teams have we covered them very quickly earlier. They were opposite sides of the road here at Yasnaya. They've certainly been aware of each other's presence, but neither felt they had the opportunity to maybe push that one across. So no doubt we'll see more from these teams later. Interestingly, we do have a team down on Mill Base, Jammy, but looks like now most people in their vehicles and looking to make their way into our first zone.
They are. Now, there's a couple of potential pinch points here. Where we have teams on the eastern side, we don't have that many. But I'm thinking that we might see teams rotate around the north of zone. And so you see where, just south of shooting range, where Navi and BTC are. So BTC actually down to a single player now. I didn't notice that. Apologies.
Yeah, we're here with the last remaining player from BTC, and it looks like the push is potentially coming in. Who's that? Squad number 10? That's Natus. And in comes the nade. That does take a chunk.
Yep. So just in case you wondered if they knew where Trap 7 was, then Navi certainly know exactly where he is, and they're coming in on the push now.
So our friend here is certainly under the pressure, and there comes the first push up the stairs. He manages to establish a knock and gets the thirst though. So that was expensive pushing up on the stairs on his own there. Potentially, our friends Natus there have lost a team member. They didn't necessarily need to lose there.
No, they could have waited there. It was a potentially slightly overly aggressive push as a solo. Now, he's going to try and loot anything. No, he's...
Right, he's hitting it now. So, yeah, that's put our friends from Team Number 10 Natus a little bit on the back foot there. I mean, obviously, they still have the advantage here, and they really should clear this one up. But that was certainly, yeah, not the way they would have necessarily liked to see that play resolve itself.
No, I agree. And also, it's surprising that a team as experienced as Navi, they didn't push as a team.
Yeah, it was a... I mean, at this rate, he's potentially got the... Yeah, he's still... Give him his due, Trap 7. He's not running away. He's not rotating out of this one.
No.
I mean, well, he might do. Let's have a... All right, here we go. Certainly had a look at that.
Trying to bait them into one building.
Right, now they've got to know where he is. And he's putting up a hell of a good fight at this. He does the drop shot, manages to pick up a knock, and oh my word, he was about half a level of hit points away from getting a team wipe there. Some fantastic work from Trap 7, but ultimately the guys from Natus, they do take it, but that was an expensive gunfight, and you have to give massive kudos to Trap 7 there. That was some great work, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, that is the kind of defence you want to be putting up, isn't it? Really, really good work there.
Yeah, some great work from Navi there. Yep, fantastic stuff. Okay, so most of our teams have now made it in. We've still got our two teams dancing around each other at Yasnaya at the moment. But most of our teams looking to consolidate position in our first zone. We're not too far away now from finding out where our next circle will be. And yeah, we've got a drop coming down by Ferry Pier. And let's have a look at Trazen there, because looks like he's potentially gone forward a little bit as a scout for the rest of his team who are mobile on his location. And he's got a look at squad number 13, and that's the Real Esports. And manages to put the M4 spray in there. Takes about half his health out, so some great spray work from Trazen there. He's having a good game so far, this young fella.
Certainly is, yeah, really good work. And we see that Neos from Surreal is actually coming back and establishing a position. They're not on the run, these guys.
But they are somewhat split up, our friends from squad number 13. So it'll be interesting. Now, Trajan here, very bold. He's driving he's driving between at least 3 guns here. And, yeah, that was a little bit too bold. So he's been knocked.
So unfortunate that his tyre was taken out and he
spun the vehicle. Yeah. So it looks like our 2 friends here, quite rightly, just heading for the rotation. There's not a lot they could have done there, I think, to try and get their teammate up. That would have just been well, effectively a way to get all of you taken out there. So an expensive one for Trazen there.
It was. And you mentioned our friends up in Asnoya. We've got a 4v2 at the moment. Alpha down to 2 players. And World of Wonders are putting in a world of hurt. In fact, they just received plenty of hurt themselves. Alpha Shazoo up there has just taken down 3 of them. He's just squad wiped all of them.
Yeah, we caught the end of that. Unfortunately, we hadn't got graphic render. But, yeah, we got our friend Shazoo there doing the business. So he manages to clear up all of World of Wonders. Now, they've lost 2 players, so they'll be going forward as a duo. But, yeah, he's got a long rotation now, Jammy.
They have, and they've lost 2 players. They've got a long way to go as well, because the zone has popped further west. Still even some of the western coastline in play. So we're centred north of Quarry, and we've got teams starting to try and establish a position. They've gone through their looting. They're trying to get themselves a decent position near centre zone. They're starting to establish positions in the buildings, and also trying to hold off any potential entry points from the, especially from the eastern side of zone.
Okay, so we've got a few rotations going on. We've got squads more than aware of where their competitors are around them, and it's going to start getting quite congested quite quickly. I mean, we're still only in phase 2 of the game. We're down to 41 players left alive, 13 teams still contesting at this point. And look at that, Jammy, side-by-side drops all the way down at Ferrypier.
Yeah, and look, there's only one team able to potentially even take advantage of that, and that's the player from STG. Rude there, coming across the Western Bridge. In fact, both players are, apologies. So there's potential for them to pick that up. There's no one else near it. They're taking a late rotation off the base.
So potentially start seeing some squad weapons making a difference if those guys hit those. So we've got a little quiet. People looking to consolidate. We are 14 minutes into the game. As I say, 41 players left alive, 13 teams, phase 2 of the game. Blues starting to move in now. We've got a couple of late rotations. Our friends from Alpha, Shazoo, they're doing a great job getting the squad wipe on World of Wonders. Starting to make their way in from the north. Our friends have dropped off at Ferry Pier, as Jammy was suggesting, to pick up some of those great weapons. So, yeah, looks like we're poised for what could be quite an interesting few phases of play in the middle game here, Jammy.
Yeah, and also what I just noticed, actually, you've got Gunny U, team... Crikey, I've lost the team. Now, it's team 15 there. Now, their lead player in the most northerly player, Herbs, is in the buildings, and he's spotted RP up the top there. So, respect esports up on the hillside, and he keeps trying to put in the odd SLR round up to the top of the hill, just to let them know they're being watched.
Okay, we are here with Qlash again. Now, they've lost 2 players. They picked up 4 kills quite early on, these fellas. Now, they're not too far away from Navi. We've already seen them as well this evening, doing some great work. But content to maintain a healthy distance at this moment in time. But ultimately, we are going to have to start seeing squads get pushed closer and closer together. Now, we've got another drop coming down on the west of the island. Nobody too close to it, though.
No, nobody's taking the opportunity to hit that western coast at the moment. The teams are trying to establish themselves more in hard cover towards centre zone at the moment. We are about to finish phase 2 of the game. And so we'll see where we're going for phase 3. Are we going to get a hard shift? Is it going to force people together? Alpha have just made it into the top of zone, and we do get our first relatively hard shift of the evening, and we're going to be finishing off at around the quarry area by the looks of it.
And that works out well for our friends from S2G down the bottom there, because they've hit those crates and now they're going to rotate south along that coast, knowing that they won't have anybody at their back. So potentially that does put them into a nice position.
It certainly does. Now, S2G, actually, I'm just having a quick look at them, and they've managed to get 5 kills so far. They are only running as a duo now, Rude and Nox. They've lost a couple of players in early combat over on the military base. And, yeah, so they've got 5 kills. So it's not just one squad they've taken out. They've obviously taken someone from another as well.
So as you would expect at this stage of the game, with a lot of rotations coming, looks like Death Race 2000 out there. Absolutely everybody mobile now, looking to rotate, establish themselves in a compound squad house, defensible ridgeline, anything they can do to increase their chances coming into this middle part of the game. And yeah, that is quite a nasty shift to the south there. Now, thankfully, I mean, a lot of teams are taking position down in the middle. We've got our friends S2G down in the south, so that does give some room for the teams up in the north to potentially rotate in without too much difficulty. Obviously, they don't know that. So far, we've had a sort of fairly quiet little stage of play, but ultimately, Pete, these teams are now going to start coming together and we're going to start getting the action picking up. And here we are with squad number 20, Night Target.
Yep, being pushed by LMV here. Getting involved with Team 5.
Right, that's our friends from squad number 10. Now, they lost a couple of players, but they have established 3 kills, these guys. We've also got elements of Qlash rotating just over the hill there. Squad number 20 under some pressure. We've also got squad number 5. That's LMV. So we've got a number of teams all around this location.
Yeah, interesting to see that you've also got up on the high ground of Quarry. You've got Team 17, fast-paid Wildcats. Now, they're on the very western edge of Quarry on that high ground, and they've got eyes on RP, Team 8, and also LMV, Team 5. And they're in the squad house that you mentioned before. And LMV are also putting in shots to Team 20, Night Target, as they try and rotate wide round. And they're in a bit of trouble, actually, Night Target.
So here is the situation. We've got squad number 8 setting themselves up in the squad houses. Just the other side of this small quarry, they're getting somewhat flanking fired by the guys from LMV.
They are now Team 20 Night Target. They did manage to complete their rotation. They did lose 1 player, but they were crashing in onto LMV, and they've managed to avoid that. Cost them a player, but at least they're all still up and running.
So we've got this 3-way fight going on.
Now, Navi are heading round the southern side of the map, by the way. They're just heading over to Primorsk. The 2 remaining players for Navi. Now, they've just managed to make their way round. Only just made it past Night Target. And then they ran into the guys from S2G. So they've managed to get just into the southern part of zone, we can see there.
So we are now here with the 2 fellas from S2G. And they've got to look over these guys from squad number 10 here. The round's going in. That's Rude, putting some rounds in with the M4 there. Picked up 5 kills already, these guys.
They have. Now, what we see on the eastern side is Team 11 there, Armed Family, are making a relatively late rotation in. They're still not in zone. Now, they were about to come up against Team 18, Next Royer. But Next Royer have just taken out Gun EU. And so Armed Family are doing their best to avoid that at the moment.
So S2G looking to rotate in from the south. So we are down to 12 teams left alive, 33 players at this moment in time. We are 35 seconds away from phase number 5 of the game.
So we're starting to get congested now. As you say, 12 teams in the late phase 4 circle. We're just north of Primorsk now. We're going to be, Quarry's still heavily involved, but just on the southern side of Quarry. Oh, hello. Somebody with a sniper there. Lovely bit of Mosin action.
Okay, so we're here with squad number 6. That's 4KT. And looks like they've got elements of the 2 players from Qlash coming in just off to their flank here, putting in the rounds towards the cars. Qlash putting some effective rounds through the windows there. In come the nades. And these guys are taking a great deal of damage. Managing to withstand it so far. But that's one of the guys, Qlash, third-partied with a beautiful piece of work.
Brilliant bit of third-party work there from Team 8. Respect Esports. Lovely work. They saw what was going on and they took advantage. That's one of the benefits they've got of establishing themselves on that high ground on the side of Quarry early.
Yep, so the guys from squad number 6 were certainly under some pressure there from the Qlash team, but Qlash have now been taken out, so that leaves them in a battle with LMV.
Now, LMV have got to be very careful here because they'll know now that Respect are up on the hillside.
And
third party.
That was just a little bit of a peek too far, and that is a knock established on some of our friends from squad, one of our friends from squad number 6. Putting in some rounds, but taking some in return. So this is turning to be a bit expensive. And if we have a quick look at the map, these guys are all now fighting out of circle. So they're going to have to make the decision, either win this fight or rotate out of it as quickly as possible.
Yeah, they are. And
that will give you a headache.
Make an early decision. If they think they can take this fight, then they've got to do it. But it's got to be fairly quick. They've got a minute to go, but they are getting a bit beaten up here.
Absolutely. These guys taking chunks out of each other at this moment in time, and these guys have really got to be thinking about, or should be thinking about, getting their rotations on. We got Alpha not too far away.
Yeah, RP. So Respect Esports have moved away from their high ground position on Quarry, and they're actually rotating south.
Yeah, S2G are still remaining, and yeah, Alpha now rotating out of that one, following the blue. We've got S2G coming in from the south. Looks like Alpha may well be running into our friends from NT. And looks like...
Yeah, RP about to come up against Vitamin from Team 11 there, the last remaining player, and he is taken down by Jet Jill from Respect.
And our friends from squad number 6 here, still very much under it. Looking to potentially, they're laying down smoke, getting in the vehicles and looking like they're trying to get out of here. Looks like they're leaving a knock player behind though, and that's another one gone as they go for the rotation. And this is going to be, this late rotation is proving to be very, very expensive. They're down to, well, we've got one dead, one mobile, and 2 still left in the building. What's our situation? And looks like our friends from squad number 5 also now looking to rotate. Looks like they might be coming slap bang into the path of squad number 17. Who's that? Fast Pay? Wildcats.
Yeah, so Fast Pay established an early position up there, and they've really held that position, and they're not going to let LMV take that from them. Okay,
so a drop is now coming down, and that is our general situation on the ground as viewed from the west. So we've got elements of squad 17, 13. We've got 8 out there. That's Respect Esports. We've got Navi out there, 18. We've got Next Joya Gaming. Night Target are out in there. 4KT are still out and about. We are down to 21 players left alive. 9 teams still competing at this point. We are 1 minute away from phase 6 of the game.
We are, and look at where the next zone's gone. Navi up there on that high ground. It took them a while to get there, but they are centre zone.
And there we go. So a lot of these teams have still got a lot of fighting to do before they find themselves into the next circle. Let's have a look at our friends from Navi here. They're holding prime location centre circle, but that means everybody's going to be shooting in.
Yeah, everybody wants a piece of Navi right now. They want that real estate. Team 17 down there, fast player, trying to hold off LMV coming in from the western side.
Yeah. And nades coming in.
To get in through that warehouse. They
Yep.
really are.
Nades coming in. Now, our friends from squad number 5 here, they need to... And I was going to say, they need to be thinking about moving. And looks like a lot of teams all doing the same thing now. And they're coming under a great deal of pressure, but that's also... So making the dash forward across the road there. And a beautiful kill for our friend Dev Boy from LMV. He's also putting the hurt into, but he has in turn been knocked. So our friends from squad 18 also doing the business there.
Putting in some great work. You saw that LMV, they knew they couldn't take the high ground up there. They were just struggling to get near that warehouse. And so they took a diversion. And they managed to get one kill, but it hasn't quite worked out for them just yet.
So this is our general situation on the ground. We're down to 13 players left alive. 5 teams still contesting. And squad number 17 up on the high ground there. They are getting chunks taken out of them, but they're also putting the hurt into squad number 5. Squad number 8 here looking very good, but there is a potential spoiler just off to their flank in Sir Dark.
Yeah, squad number 8 there, we see Respect Esports. They have locked out with this zone. It's going to go through them.
So we're here with Kraut from squad number 17. That's Fast Play Wildcats. Taking some damage. They're doing their very, very best to establish some kind of cover at the top of this high ground here. But they are finding themselves well out of circle. And we are 5 seconds away from zone popping and the blue shifted in for phase number 8 of the game. And, yeah, this is going to come down to some fast, exciting gunplay at the end, boys and girls. But you've got to be loving the location that team number 8, our friends from Respect Esports, are occupying right now. And here comes the rest of the teams all starting to push in, Jammy.
Yeah, next Roy are really losing out here. They've got one player out in the blue. They've had another one taken out by Dev Boy. Dev Boy trying to push. All these teams trying to push in on Respect Esports.
Yeah, and that is 17 really coming under it. And you feel that 8 have just got the location here. And it looks like the rest of these guys are really going to be struggling to come in. We are down to only 2 teams left alive now. And we're here with Sadak, who was at the high ground there, keeping a low profile, but he's now going to come under it from the rest of the brutal gunfire that came in from squad number 8 as the rest of the teams try to locate in. He's doing his very best to heal up, but ultimately the writing's on the wall here, and here comes the final shoot. Now he does manage to get a knock, but ultimately he is taken out. So a fantastic conclusion to a very exciting first game on Erangel, and yeah, that was just some masterful play by Respect Esports at the end there to take the win. SR in second place, and let's have a look at squad number 8. Let's have a look. They get 12 kills. Our team in second place. Let's have a look. 2 kills for those guys. And in third place, we have NR, and they pick up 10 kills. Archon from Respect picking up 8 there. That's the highest I've seen for an individual fragger. We've got a couple of 4s, some 3s there. Obviously, full results and everything will be available after the evening. We're just going to have a quick rundown now. But yeah, Archon certainly looks like taking the top fragger, and well played to Respect Esports. A well-controlled win at the end there. Okay, Jammy and I are going to take a very, very short break. Then we'll be back for some post-game analysis and introduction into Game 2. So we will see you soon. Bye for now. Okay, hi there, boys and girls. Welcome back to the channel. Okay, yeah, so that concludes game number one. A fantastic win for Respect Esports. We had some early action, footballist early exit, early stages of game number one. And so we had a few bits of isolated action. Then it sort of went quiet for a bit, everybody looking to rotate. We had some great moments of squad wipes, some late blue action over in Yasnaya. But World of Wonders taken out there. And then coming into the final phases of play, we still had about 40 players still coming into the final phases of play. And those final few stages of play were absolutely intense there. But you have to say that positionally, the way that Respect Esports played that one, Jammy, was absolutely vital for them in the end.
Yeah, going back to the beginning, we saw some, like you said, we saw some early clashes. A little bit of a sort of a cold war up in Yasnaya, but certainly anything but cold down at hospital, where we saw four footballers taken out early with a very aggressive push.
Yep.
And then another couple of small skirmishes and battles. And because we had effectively what was actually quite a hard first zone, all the way over in the west, a lot of teams were already in zone. But it's when you got to sort of phase two of the game, and teams had to start rotating in and around and past each other, that's when it really started to kick off. Then we had a slight lull as teams started to establish and plot what they were going to do and wait for the hard shift. And then the hard shift came. We went south, we went to Quarry, we saw the teams that had the high ground on the edges of Quarry were starting to take some kills. Teams had to rotate around, take wide angles, go to places they didn't want to go in order to get round them. And yeah, in the end, we saw Respect hold in that position. They earned the right to be on top of that hill when the zone broke in their favour. Boy, did they earn the right to be up there, and they finished it off with really good control of zone.
It was just fantastic zone. I mean, yeah, certainly it popped for them, but at that time, Jammy, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they were the only team that still had all four players up and running. Archon was, I think, 8 kills in the end for that guy. Yeah, they certainly popped to them. A lot of teams fighting very hard, trying to extricate themselves in circles 6 and 7, trying to get into circle there, which is always going to be very, very difficult when you know you've got a lot of very good guns around you. But ultimately, yeah, as you say, the positional play and, frankly, the lethal gun skills, that final push coming into phase 8 of the game, we still had 4 or 5 teams all trying desperately to push in. And, yeah, our friends from Respect Esports there, they just cleaned house.
They did, and they moved at the right time. They saw what was happening with the zone, and they moved onto that eastern side of the Quarry. Now, they knew, because of where they were previously, they knew that a lot of teams would be headed around the west and the southern side of Quarry. And so the eastern side was actually fairly empty. They had, I think it was one solo player around there, wasn't there? I think it was from Team Healer. Was he from Armed Family? I think the last remaining player from Armed Family was on the eastern side. So they managed to take him out, yeah. And that meant they had established a safe position that they could not easily defend, but they took the decision to get round there early, and it paid off for them.
Yep, some very exciting stuff. So sometimes can be a little bit cagey, game number one, but certainly not the case in this one. These guys came ready to fight and plenty of great action, which is what we all love to see. Nice to see quite a few people watching live at the moment. There's a lot of stuff going on in chat, most of which I can't read, so I'm hoping most of it's not rude.
From what I'm reading in between, I can see where. Thank you for writing in English to some of the guys in chat.
Yeah.
It seems that S2G are very popular because they are the team of a Turkish YouTuber.
Ah, there we go. Well, we did get. Actually, they were on there over quite a while down in the south, weren't they? But we certainly got some action of those guys coming into the later stages of game. Basically, there isn't a formula, guys, for who we go to. We don't have favourite teams. Basically, if I see gunfire on a map, I go there because I like watching gunfights. It's that simple, really. Anyway, so looks like we are coming into the beginning of the start of game number 2, and we are on Sarnok. Always an interesting one, this one I do like to watch, purely simply because of the slightly different dynamic involved in this game. Whereas you can quite often see late rotations going in on foot, And I find that the slightly different game style something that is normally quite good fun to stream.
It is, and you live violence, really, don't you? So the quicker they can get condensed together, the better.
Well, and it's a nice, and the thing is as well, it's a small map, so it does tend to bring in the gunfights, and I imagine we're going to see plenty of them with this lot. So hopefully more intense action in game number 2 as we got in game number 1. Just waiting for the plane now.
It's loaded.
Waiting for the plane. Waiting for the plane.
You might have to go to the mini map just in case. We do have our plane. There we go. Yeah, so that happens to me occasionally when I'm co-casting with you. That there's a slight glitch where you don't go with the players, but you can go if you select overall. You can then select the individual players, and it will switch to them.
Right, okay, we've got the plane view now, thankfully.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
A lot when I'm co-casting with you.
So, okay, so we've got a central flight line there, and looks like we've got a good spread going north and south. Got some early jumpers up in the North Island by Hard Tin.
Slightly surprised we didn't get more early jumpers. We do normally, especially with the flight line as it was, I was expecting to have at least 3 or 4 teams over on the Northwest Island. Oh, quite an even spread. We do have a couple of teams in around boot camp and a couple of teams in and around Paradise as well, the usual places. Apart from that, quite an easy spread.
Okay.
Camp Charlie, we have a couple of teams.
So we've got at least elements of 3. We've got elements of squad number. We've got 4KT and also wow, getting into it there. Looks like we're getting some knocks established up in the north.
Already in a little bit of trouble. They've had one player knocked and killed actually, and they've also got Jody has been knocked, so and confirmed now by Beast MVP up in Paradise. So it's only Chaos and Captain still running.
And that's our winners of game number 1, who are establishing a presence early on at Paradise Resort.
We see Chaos just sort of snaking, trying to get a view onto Respect Esports over there that are in Paradise. Respect already taken a couple of kills. Chaos trying to get some information and see if he can have a pop shot at one of those players, but they're moving around in a pack.
They are, there. Yeah. They're not messing about. These guys, very good looting strategy, fast moving, and basically they've got the rest of the Paradise to themselves with a little bit of periphery. Okay, we are here with squad number 13, and that is Surreal Esports, and looks like they're already getting into some action. So Dark has been knocked. Now I think he was the guy who came second in game number 1, as I recall, who was still up on the high ground. Dark was, yeah, he was he was the guy who was up on the high ground with squad number 8 at the end of game 1. Looks like he's managed to get himself mobile now, however. So there's our first zone. Got a couple of teams down the south. Let's just have a quick check back in boot camp, see if any of these guys have decided to push on each other.
Been a little bit of a standoff for these two teams. We did have a third team that came in, the Enlightened team, Team 19, but they actually moved away slightly, and they've got boot camp surrounded a little bit.
Okay, so some nades now starting to come in, and that is a knock established by our friends from World of Wonder, squad number 4, and it looks like they are now potentially looking to come in and get a push on Self here from 4KT. Who doesn't love the sound of the red zone in your ears, especially when you're under pressure?
Yeah. It's quite loud. I mean, it does cover a lot of
covers a few footsteps.
Noise.
covers a few footsteps. Does that?
Yeah.
Okay, so having a quick poke at the window and a spray, instantly changing location. Doesn't want to get caught poking the same window twice. Out he comes. Now it looks like they are starting to push on his teammate now. But he's got one team member dead, one not. So here's the last surviving member of his team and taken out by our friend from World of Wonders there. So 4 kills nice and early in game number 2 for these guys. Well done, boys and girls.
Now, up in the very north, we've got Navi rotating from their drop location west of Paradise, and they're about to come into contact with Captain from Alpha, who's only just in zone, and I don't think he's seen that Navi are behind him. There is a building between them, but I'm wondering if Navi have got eyes on Captain.
We're here with Captain now. He appears. I think he's moving away, actually.
Yeah, he's managed to get away. Now, those two, Alpha, Captain and Chaos.
Captain Chaos. Loving it. Loving it.
Between Navi and Respect. Now, that is not a sandwich you want to be a meeting.
No. So, fairly quiet start of the game. Now, they've already lost 2 members of the squad, these guys, so they will be playing the rest of the game as a duo. Also got elements of squad number 8, Respect Esports. Looks like they're making their way out now from their fast work earlier in Paradise Resort.
Yeah, so I loved how they were going around Paradise. They were swarming as a pack. They weren't going to individual parts. They were just absolutely swarming over. They knew there was someone else in the vicinity. And so they didn't want to risk coming up against someone on a 1v1. They wanted to absolutely make sure they could take anyone down by just roaming as a pack.
Okay, so we're here with Archon. He was our individual top fragger from game number 1. I think he picked up 8 kills, so well played, sir.
So just looking where people are at the moment, we do have a few teams still around the very southern area. So down at Camp Charlie,
yeah, they've been dancing around.
Footballists and Night Target.
Yeah, they've been dancing around each other for a little while, these 2 teams. I've been keeping an eye on them, but nobody seems to have pushed an advantage just yet.
There's still 16 teams in play, and Footballists who went down quite early in game 1 will be maybe a little more cautious here. They don't want to, not that they're going to shy away from an engagement, but they want to make sure they have a better showing than before.
And looks like 2 of the guys from Football is certainly closing in a little closer to our friends from Night Target.
And in the background, we've got Qlash over on the opposite peninsula.
And there's our next circle, and that is a hard rotation down to the south. So a lot of people now starting to make their way down, and that's going to work out okay for these guys. They can afford to take their time with this one.
Yeah. Well, there we go. We've finally got the action we were hoping for, but it's not the action Footballists were hoping for.
So we're here with Exile. He's taking quite a bit of damage, but it does look like he has managed to establish 1 knock on one of the guys from Footballist, trying the jump shot over the wall there. And Footballist coming under some pressure here, but great work from Round there, but he in turn has been knocked, so that is 2 of Footballist knocked, 1 dead, and Footballist really under it here. Soulcate here, really under the ring. He blows the gas can. But ultimately is taken out, and that is the wipe for Night Target. So Footballist taken out relatively early doors in game number 2. Now let's have a look. We got Qlash. We got Qlash, our host for this evening. They were overlooking that one.
Now we do have some action with S2G getting involved with 2 different teams actually. We've got a 3-way fight just west of Lakawi, east of Quarry. Silas from S2G is putting plenty of shots there into Armed Family.
And that is Silas from STG taken out, so Rude is the only member of that team still up, and looks like he's having that away on his toes.
Yeah, he's going to make sure he gets into zone here. They've also got LMV coming in from the north. So many teams still rotating in. Just south of Boot Camp, we've got Surreal Esports Team 13.
And there's a hard push coming in from next. And that was a perfectly timed push. And look at the difference that has made to these guys. just after their successful fight from S2G, they instantly get pushed, and that has absolutely decimated the guys from squad number 11 there. And that was, you've got to say, that was a fantastic push from NR. That was some impressive work from those guys.
That was quick, it was aggressive, it was decisive. Boy, did it.
Oof.
I mean, look, they're not finished.
And he can't even get a little poke there for the sneaky shot on the retreat. And I'd imagine these, here we go, here comes a hard push coming towards our friend Vitamin here. I don't think your vitamins are going to do it for you, buddy. Here we go.
No.
And that is some brutal clear-up work. And they're instantly into it with LMV. LMV got the blue at their back, but it's not going to hurt too much at this stage. But one way or another, these guys aren't letting it go, so somebody is going back to the lobby. What a fantastic period of play here. And that is a great knock off to his right flank. Hidden GGG doing great work for LMV. So what an exciting passage of play.
Second, third, fourth party here. We've just got wave after wave of teams coming in for a fight here.
And our friend, I mean, great push earlier on from this team who were pushing the team that took out S2G earlier, just a few seconds earlier. And they, in turn, right after clearing that one up, pushed straight away by LMV. And just what a fantastic period of play. And that has certainly thinned out the, and that is the thirst established there.
Yeah, Maud coming in, just trying to scope in. And get them as they came round the rock, but he just wasn't quite able to shoot in time before they got his teammate. And now they're going to be able to
now the smoke, yep,
and come in.
Yep, smoking that one out. And I would suggest our friend here probably needs to be potentially looking to get away from it. Certainly, squad number 5, LMV, they are looking to rotate.
Well, can I just jump in there? Sorry to jump in. Vikendi might be dead today. But look at the map. We have got a Vikendi zone.
We certainly have.
Look at this. Centered around the coast of Bantai.
Hard push down to the south. In fact, most of the zone locations have been very hard pushes so far. That's going to work out okay for these teams down in the south here. But the teams up in the north who've been involved in some of the bigger fights, they've still got a long way to go.
They have. Now BTC coming in down to the docks area. They're about to be joined by LMV. And we saw LMV come in with an aggressive push. So they're not worried about taking on a fight.
And here we are with our friends from BTZ. We've got elements, as Jammy said. LMV now rotating in. They can certainly hear him. And is he going to have a go here? There's 2 of them on the bike there. Ooh.
So Perks makes it into the zone, as do his teammates, Hidden and Japon. Now they are just in zone. They've got elements of BTC either side of them. BTC have a 2-2 split here. 2 down at the very edge of the Eastern Peninsula. And 2 slightly further north. So LMV slightly surrounded, albeit from a relatively long distance at the moment.
Our friends here from LMV, they've established 7 kills already, this team. Managing to get themselves a location just inside of Circle.
Yep, so Team 17, Fast Play Wildcats, they are getting involved with Team 20, the Night Target EU team. Now they've managed to take down Zoe, and Exile has been killed, so and now Wisco as well.
So we're here with Night Target, they're getting into it with our friends from Blaze, and that is a third party coming from squad number 17, Wildcats on top of the hill there. So that is that team taken out.
So, yeah, trapped in between the Fast Play Wildcats and Night Target there. And Blaze.
So we're back
Blaze
here
now
with
taking over Camp Charlie.
Yeah, we're back here with Blaze now. They've managed to keep all 4 players up. They've established 2 kills already, and they've established a presence in Camp Charlie. We've got Wildcats doing a great job from the high ground up at the just down to their south. And it's all go now. We were looking at BTC and LMV earlier. Now it looks like LMV coming under a little bit of pressure now. Here we are with Perks. got a position up on the high ground. Now he's got two just off to his front, one off to his left and rear. And that's who gets the knock on him. So we are here with J-Pod now. He is getting the revive on his teammate. And look at this. Here comes a 2-2 split from BTC. Looking to close in on this position. They're going to get flanked both sides here, I think.
They are, and they're just out of zone, so they can't afford to be on reduced health to take on BTC here.
And BTC putting the rounds in, and here comes the double flank. And there we go. That is our friend J-Pod taken out. And I don't think his teammate is long for this world. No, there we go. So that is a great clear up from our friends from BTC. We are down to 30 players left alive. 9 teams still competing. We are phase 4 of the game, 30 seconds away from phase 5.
We are, and the zone shifted. Look at that, still centered around Camp Charlie and Bantai. So our friends from Team Bitcoin there just won that fight, but they've got to get across the water realistically. Qlash also just on the edge of the peninsula. And then we've got Navi and Respect along with the Real Esports to the north of zone.
So Qlash putting the rounds in to our winners of game number 1, Respect. Respect still got quite a way to rotate here, and great work from MZ there, putting a knock on one of the guys from Respect. Establishing a good presence here with the water at their backs. Just inside circle. They may have some tough phases of play coming up to them though. And it looks like BTC potentially looking to rotate across the water there.
They are. They've just got themselves to the very edge of zone, Bitcoin. They've got to the edge of zone in the buildings. They're now trying to make their way over. They are indeed swimming across. Now they do have on the mainland, they do have fast-paced Wildcats waiting for them, and then further north, as we see here, it's Blaze. So they're going to try and make their way over. A risky strategy, but it's the only one open to them. So up in the north, I'm just trying to see who we got. Now, we do still have Morda there from Next Roya Gaming. He's running in through the zone. He's working his way through. Count them. 34 bandages and 26 first aid kits. He's a long way. He's still 1,000 meters from zone. So if he can get a vehicle, he may be okay because he's got so many heals.
Yeah, we call that a jammy rotation in our in our parlance.
How
that was
very dare you?
How very dare you?
Be on Sandrock.
What, really? Yeah, 1,800 meters away from the blue zone, mate. That's about your style, isn't it?
It certainly is. Now, Qlash are also making their way over. Aza is in the water.
Yeah.
The rest of his team are on the edge of the peninsula.
And Blaze
So
are
they're
certainly...
a bit of a split.
Blaze certainly looking like they've got a nice location here. Now, they do have an overlook from the guys from squad number 17, Wildcats, and we know that they've been putting that overlook to good use, firing into Camp Charlie. Our friends from squad number 13, Surreal Esports, pushing with the blue at their back, trying to get in.
They are now. Just draw your attention to Navi as well. Out in the northwest of zone, they were getting into it with Captain and Chaos from Alpha. Now they're trying to make their way into the western side of Camp Charlie as well. So they're not having a great time of it at the moment.
BTC have managed to get themselves well to the south of circle, but they've got across the water and they're starting to rotate in from the south. Navi coming in from the north, and they're just now starting to approach the outskirts of Camp Charlie. That was a nade not too far away. That does take a chunk. And boom, that one does the business. So, cue smoke here, and there's more nades, and that was always going to be a risky right out in the open, going for the revive there. Obviously felt he didn't have much of a chance. So we are here with the last member of team number 10 on his feet at this moment in time. His teammate desperately trying to, no, and he has now been thirsted up. And we've got plenty of, and this is a very difficult rotation now for the last surviving member of this team. We've got elements of Qlash still getting into it. BTC coming in from the south. Let's go and check out our friends from Wildcats. They're still overlooking here.
They are. They've got BTC to the south. They've got Qlash to the east. They've got Alpha to the west. But they are holding a strong position, I would say. They've got a good high ground position here. and a combination of Blaze and Fast Pay take out Alpha, who go down in 7th place.
No, looks like the guys from squad number 13 coming well under pressure now. In fact, probably not going to be able to hold up much longer. We'll see. But that was a great piece of work. And yes, nice single tap fire with the M4 there. And that puts the hurt on and the knock on one of the members of Qlash. And he's certainly not going to get across the water. Looks like our friends from squad number 17 up on the high ground there. They are still putting the hurt down in there.
They certainly are. And they've just taken... oh, crikey, I missed who that was. Apologies. They've just taken the player down who was with them. So we do now have our top 5. Now we have these 4 teams around here. And then still up by Quarry, we have Maud YouTube. He's up there. He's got 30 bandages, but he's racing his way through his first aid. He's only got 5 left. He's going to be going down soon.
So this is it. Blaze established their winning position. What was their win of the gunfight in Camp Charlie early on. But our friends from Wildcats there, they established this high ground early on. And these guys have been fighting it out for this prime real estate ever since. So we are down to 11 players left alive. 5 teams still contesting. The blue is pushing in and we're about to come into phase 7 of play.
We are. And look at the position that Surreal Esports are in. They're just out of zone and they're just underneath the cliffs. They're really struggling to get over because as soon as they peak, they've got...
and Cheetah there doing his best.
And Blaze.
Cheetah there doing his best to sneak in, coming in from the blue between the 2 rocks there. But, yeah, very interesting one because Blaze have the numbers here and the security of the buildings. Wildcats have certainly covering off a lot of angles and this could very much well come down to how aggressive this circle is going to be as we come into the final stages of play. And that's worked out quite well for Blaze. So our friends from Wildcats have got to start thinking about giving up this high ground now.
Yeah, they're going to have to start moving. They're going to have to plan how they're going to do it. Are they going to rush in together? Are they going to come in with a hail of smoke? Are they going to come in separately and try and separate out the gunfire? Because they don't know how many teams are left necessarily. But as we can see, we've got a couple of individuals to the left of screen, and then we've got Blaze in the buildings.
And I have to say, the advantage would now appear to be with Blaze. They have cover in the buildings, they have zone, and everybody else is having to push in. Now Cheetah from SR starting to make his way in. And Blaze wise to that one, but Cheetah does manage to establish a knock on one of the players from Blaze. Our last remaining player from Qlash using that as a motivator to start making his way in. And we've also got Wildcats also making a move, and Blaze coming under some pressure here.
They certainly are. And yeah, they've lost one player. They've got another one knocked.
So that's some great work coming in from Wildcats. Wildcats also firing towards the last remaining player from our hosts for the evening, Qlash. And Boren here. 9 kills established for this team so far. They've managed to establish themselves in zone, and it's going to be a fight out between Qlash and the Wildcats. And what an absolute nade! And you have to say, for what looked like an excellent position for Blaze, they're really coming under pressure now from Wildcats.
Yeah, this is an important revive now. He's got to get this done, and then they need to separate out quickly because these nades are raining in. They've got to be so careful.
So we're here with Tron now, and it looks like here come the guys from Wildcats. They're pushing in aggressively. And he does manage to establish a knock there. Great work. And that is it. It is all over. And that was a fantastic conclusion to game number 2. And yeah, the guys from the Wildcats, they end up taking the win there. That was a great time push off from that high ground to push into that strong position from Blaze there. So they take the win. Well done indeed, boys and girls. They take that with 12 kills. In second place, our friends from Blaze, they take that with 8 kills. And in third, our hosts, Qlash, they take third place with 3 kills. Looking at the top 3 there, it looks like the foe. Top fragger there with 6. We're just going to have a quick check down. We've got plenty of 3s. There's a 4 there from Ketch. We're going to have a quick look, see if anybody else established more than that.
few 2s and 3s, but no one getting better than a 6.
No one more
What
than
a
the 6.
finish.
That was a fantastic finish. Jammy and I, of course, will go through the more salient details of the conclusion to game number 2 in the post-game analysis. We're just going to take a very short break, get into the next room, and we will see you in just a few minutes. Bye for now. Okay, hi there, boys and girls. Welcome back. Right, some fantastic action there in game number 2. Bit of early action around Paradise Resort early on. Our winners of game number 1. Respect getting involved there. A few other great gunfights with that massively intense period of gameplay in the middleware where squad after squad was wiping out and getting pushed on. And ultimately, I think it was the guys from LMV who ended up walking out of that one. But all of that was the lead up to what was a fantastically intense and exciting conclusion with some great strategic and positional play. And ultimately, yeah, the Wildcats really did choose the most excellent time to push from a position of disadvantage. They were outside the zone having to push in against Blaze Esports there, but Yeah, what a fantastic conclusion to game number 2, Jammy.
Yeah, what were we saying at the beginning of the game about, a smaller map, condensing the gunfights, making it more exciting? What a game. That just did not let up. We had a crazy zone. We had non-stop action. We had, exactly as you say, we had second, third and fourth parties, wave after teams, finishing up with LMV as the last team on top of the hill. And then that finish. Blaze had a really well-established position with hard cover. They were long established in those positions.
Yeah.
They were holding off from other teams. And
yeah, as soon as that, I mean, it was interesting because I think it was now then it was I can't remember which. There was a single. There were two solos out on the left-hand side of the circle. One of them made a break for it to come in. That led the other one to make a break for it to come in. Then Blaze sort of got into that sort of southwestern area of that circle at that time, which had moved very favourably for them. And that was all the cue that the Wildcats, who had been maintaining a strong position on the high ground, needed. They used that opportunity to crash very aggressively into the other side of Blaze. And Blaze, who literally 30 seconds before must have been thinking, we're in a very strong position here, getting pushed on by all sides and coming down into the final gun skills, room by room stuff. And yeah, you can't take it away from the Wildcats there. They really did make a fantastic push from outside of circle phase 8 of game. That is something that's not very easy to do, and these guys pulled it off with some great style.
Yeah, so the Wildcats push, exactly as you said, they timed it perfectly, because if they'd got that wrong, they would have been taken out on the hillside.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have even got to the buildings. But when they got to the buildings, that perfectly timed and aimed nade really turned it, because yes, Blaze had they had one player knocked. As soon as they got that second knock established, they came in on the push. They knew they had the advantage, and boy, were they aggressive.
They weren't messing about, those fellas.
No.
So yeah, we've had fantastic action in games 1 and 2. I think we're only a few minutes away from the lobby of game number 3. Let's have a quick check. We've got 65 players in so far. I think we're due to take off in just a few minutes. We're on Miramar for game number 3. One of your favourite maps to play on, Jammy, as we know. Yeah, going to be interesting because going from the intense environment that you get on Sarnock, especially with those final phases of play there, to go into something where you do have a bit more time. You can think about rotations a little more, a slightly more potentially strategic style of gameplay for Miramar. But as we know, since the Miramar update, about a year ago, with more compounds available, you still can get some very intense gunfights on this map.
Oh, certainly you can. And what you find is, yes, there's more room to move around, of course, which gives potential for teams to be spread out. But the flip side of that is, from a strategic point of view, you've got to make sure you're in the right place at the right time, because you cannot afford to be out in the blue on Miramar, because although the zones might not hurt as much, you've got so much further to travel. You don't want to be getting to the edge of the blue on a quarter health, because you will be met by a team or two.
Yep, so it looks like we're potentially loading into the lobby now, so hopefully not too far away from starting match number 3. If that's going to be anything like the intense action we've had in matches 1 and 2, we are no doubt once again in for a treat. So we are now 30 seconds away from the plane. And yeah, you can tell it's Miramar. Somebody's already getting the sniper rifle out.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah, it's you, and yeah. You're shooting from Vikendi still, aren't you, mate? So, okay, we're coming down to it now. Just over 5 seconds away, and we will be commencing match number 3. And there's our plane. So, let's check out our flight line and talk us through that one, Jammy. We're going from Trailer Park down to Puerto Paraíso.
Yet another very ordinary flight line. It's across the centre of the map. Doesn't really cut anywhere off. The size of Miramar, of course, you're going to get part of it you can't reach on a jump. But it's not
Speak for yourself, man.
Crazy angle somewhere. It's not on a crazy angle. It's not cutting off 3/4 of the map. The teams will like it, but once again, the first zone is more important on Miramar than anywhere because it gives rise to, some really long rotations. You have to plan and execute quickly on Miramar to take account for the fact that they've got the longer distances.
And interestingly, Jammy, we've got at least elements of, 3 teams? Nice early jumpers south the flight line into El Pozo, and that could get very busy very fast. In fact, these guys are already on the deck.
They are. So, yeah, El Pozo already got 4 teams in it. Nice and busy. So, knocks coming out already. Aza from Qlash has been knocked.
So we're here with Trazen from Qlash, and Aza's actually been thirsted up. So an early exit for one of our members from the our host for this evening. So we have squad number 19, Enlighten. They're not too far from Bitcoin, BTC. We've got Qlash in here, and there was a 4th team as well, wasn't there, Jammy?
Yeah, so... Yes, so we've got Team 80. So
no, it's just a 3, I think.
No, there's 4 teams in El Pozo. Qlash, Bitcoin, Enlighten, Team 19, and then Team 18, the next Roya Gaming. So there are 4 teams in there, honestly. They're just very, very close together.
We've got a lot of teams. Just looking at the map here, we've got a lot of teams that have actually landed very, very close to each other. So we're going to keep an eye on the map and see where our next gunfight goes to.
And look at that. We've got... so we had quite a central flight line. And now the first zone is north. So the teams that dropped down to the south of the map are going to have the hardest rotation. I'll be surprised if more than 1 or 2, more than 1 team gets out of El Pozo. These guys, because they're fairly close to zone, they're not going to be overly pushed by zone. They're going to be pushed by each other.
So we've got a lot of teams very, very close to each other. And rounds are starting to be exchanged. Now here we are with our winners from game number 2, Wildcats. Now, it looks like they've had a member taken out early. They've got somewhat separated here. So, one of their members, potentially a scout, find themselves isolated off somewhat.
Yeah, so there are 2 players over at just east of Hacienda. Excuse me.
So, here we are with Cole from Wildcats. And we've got 2 of Wildcats already down. And these are the 2 remaining players. Great gun skills from Qual there. Doesn't even have a helmet yet. Switches out the gun. Going in it with the Vector. Switch it back out. Reloads fast on the Uzi. Doesn't quite make it. So Boren is now the last member of this team up and alive. And quite rightly rotating out of that one. So some great work from our friends from squad number 11 on family. Clearing up our winners of game number 2. Nice and early on there, Jammy.
Yeah, that was almost symbolic from Boran. He just calmly turns the buggy around and goes off in the opposite direction. Nothing he can do to help his team from there, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Just away from Boran. Oh, there we go. You've just switched over. Sorry.
Yep. So here we are with Squad Alpha. Now they have got 1 player knocked, 1 mobile, and they're coming into it with, World of Wonders.
And Boran still wants to fight. He's out in the distance, putting shots into these guys. So the little sort of phony war is.
So Kaito there, taking a little bit of a whack. He's having a quick look at one of our players from WoW. He's sporting the level 4 bunny helmet. Sticking in some nice tap fire with the Mini 14 there.
Kaito, no helmet, no meds, a level 1 vest.
And still push it up. So here we are with Zessi from squad number 4, coming into some pressure here. Looking to get over here and help his teammate out from Captain and Chaos. So we've got multiple knocks established here on these teams.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I had the same glitch then.
And
so these guys fighting for a good position in zone here. They are well inside zone, so no push from that side, but potentially quite important as teams come in from the southern side.
So Zezzy here just trying to keep a look and now attempting to get the revive on his teammate. Kato just off to his south there and is in ridiculously low health. And here comes a push doing the business for the Thompson. Drops down. Unfortunate time for a mag change there. But that was some great work. And that is the guys taken out. So our friends from squad number 4, World of Wonders, establishing 4 kills nice and early.
And Alpha Legends back to the lobby in 17th place there. Not a great start from them. So, yeah, back over at El Pozo, our friends from Enlightened, Team 19. Nasty's been knocked. Texty is just getting the revive on him at the moment, but they've already had 2 players taken down. And I think that is... I know, is it... Just trying to work out. I think it's Next Royer.
Yeah, and here comes the push from Next Royer.
But Next Royer taken out, though, go down into 15th place.
They go out, so
doing work.
Some great work there from Texie with the Thompson, I think it was, taking out the pushing player there and able to establish the revive on his teammate. So they have lost 2 players, but they're going to walk out of El Pozo as probably the only 2 people who will. So some fantastic work from these guys. Well played indeed, boys and girls. It's been fast and furious so far. Now we've got a little bit of separation between teams, thinned out the herd somewhat, and guys looking to rotate in, and that's quite a hard shift to the north for our circle, Jammy.
It is, and look at that, we've got a lot of teams that have already gone to the northern part of zone. LMV all the way up to Campo Militar. Boran's made his way up towards there as well. So teams aren't messing around staying on the southern side. You can see there's almost a line as teams try to establish themselves across that centre area.
Okay, let's check out our friends from S2G.
Only a trio they jumped as, it looks like at the moment. They they don't have a 4th member now. It's Nox, Bava, and Silas. They're still very spread. They're still in that sort of early looting mode by the looks of it. They've got a real wide spread between the 3 players.
Potentially about to... well, he's looking actually in the opposite direction, but our friends from Blaze here, who involved
he's being watched by Nox from S2G, by the way.
He's certainly being watched. And, yeah, Blaze, one of the teams who featured in that epic gunfight around Camp Charlie in the final stages of game number 2. Quite a start for these guys so far, but they're not too far away from S2G.
No, they're not. And, yeah, Nox, it was from S2G that was watching Corchera from Blaze as he was trying to see, and he was looking in the wrong direction, but Nox couldn't quite see enough of him to get the shots in. Now, we do have a couple of teams over near Monte Nuevo. We've got the 4KT and Gun EU.
Yeah, we're on with our friends now with Gun now. It looks like 4KT rotating past in vehicles. Gun on the deck. So is that 4KT stopping? Sorry, is that is that 4KT stopping there, or are they continuing to rotate?
They've carried on along the road. There is a vehicle along the road. So
you can see
Mamula and his teammates.
You can see him in the distance now, rotating off. We'll go back up to our situation we were following earlier with Blaze. Now they're getting ever closer to our friends from S2G. Certainly aware of each other's presence now.
Yes, they certainly are. And Corchera is actually moving away. He's on the motorbike. He's decided he's had enough scouting. He's given his team enough information. He's going to rejoin them and establish their position. And they have got a very good position in centre zone. Yeah, well, they've got good real estate in zone. So, yeah, good play scouting out. But they're also not too far away from a game glitch. Thank you very kindly for that. All right, hopefully this will sort itself out very quickly, boys and girls. I'm sure it will. Just while this is happening, just to let you know that 4KT did make it into zone. Gun EU are following in vehicles. Now, Pronto from 4KT was left behind to follow up. And he's now got sight of some of the gun players, just giving information back to his team. Come on, come on. now total. RP all on their own in the southern half of the zone. So we're down between Ricardo and Lamendita, currently climbing through the red zone. And they are, as I say, totally alone. There we go.
All right, looks like we're back. Oh, I hate it when it does. That gives me a damn heart attack.
Sorry.
Okay, well, all we actually missed was people driving, so that's fine. Okay, there is our next phase of play, and yeah, a lot of players already established in. You can see how many players are mobile, looking to establish themselves a strong position. Looks like we've got a couple of drops coming down to the north there, and potentially.
Yeah, Pronto from 4KT Team 6. He's on his own, out in the blue zone at the moment, and now he's got Gunny U all around him. He's taken some shots. He's had to get a med kit in, and now he's had to smoke his buggy. His buggy is frankly knackered. It's smoking ruin, and he's now taking more shots and taken down by Mamula. Now, we saw Enlighten over in El Pozo, and they're still there. Now, I thought, having won the battle that they won...
Okay, sorry to... yeah, we're getting into it with footballers now, and they're getting into a Navi. Footballers haven't had a fantastic evening so far, and that's one of their players knocked. But some effective teamwork, tap work coming in from Levazen there. So footballers got a little bit of a split going on here. As have their opposite numbers. Levazen looking for a rotation. Sonka here still out on foot, being joined by his teammates. And putting a few rounds in with the M4 there, but taking a few in return.
Certainly is now slightly miscalculated. Maybe
and I think there was that flanking fire coming in, which has proved to be very, very effective. So Levazen is the only member of football is still up, but he's putting that M4 to good use and establishes a knock.
Yeah, Kitsune from Navi there, up on the off angle, doing some great work.
Yeah, great flank fire from the off angle there. Now these guys have managed to get their position smoked up, but instantly coming under that same flanking fire. And that's it. That is some fantastic work from Kitsune there. Doing absolutely great work. And that is another exit for Footballist. But Kitsune there with that flanking fire, you have to say that was massively...
Yeah, sorry to jump in, but look, just north of this battle, we've got 4 teams. We've got S2G, LMV, Bitcoin, and 4KT, all converging on the same position.
Yeah, we're here with S2G at this moment in time. These guys looking to rotate a little.
Have the vanguard for S2G here.
Right, so he's grabbing his M4. He's coming over the top here. We've also got elements of Bitcoin, as Jammy was saying. Now, taking some flanking fire there. So Pete a little too high. Nade coming over from Nox. Oh, and that was some great work from S2G there, establishing one knock. So here with who's this? Hidden, yeah. Trying to get the nades onto the S2G position.
Really important knock that was from Nox. It meant he gave him time to get the revive on his teammate. Puts in a nade in return. Here it comes.
Here it comes, and that was a beautiful nade. Not quite establishing the knock, but it does take a chunk out. Smokes out his location quickly. Rotates, and now he's got to look at these 2 players. Another nade coming in, taking another chunk out of our friend here. He's coming under some pressure. And boom, that one does it. Fantastic nade work from S2G there.
Yeah, absolutely raining nades. Oh, Nox taking another one, but managing to get the finish on Hidam. As we said before, these guys only jumped as a trio and they're now as a duo. So Bava is having some fun with Perks over there.
Yeah.
And Nox trying to provide the support.
Nox doing some great work with the Scarrow spray there to back up his teammate. So that is another knock established by S2G.
Straight on the offensive.
Oh, and I think they pretty much whacked holes into each other there. Bava there doing his very best. He is the last member of this team up and running.
Oh, how important is that first aid kit? He needs to try and get to his teammate if he can.
And we're here with Dev Boy. I think that
good.
Another one coming over. He's going to get to his teammate. Bava trying to do the same and get to his teammate and get the res on. We've got elements of another team also potentially going to be sneaking in on this one. And there's Dead Boy. A beautiful knock established by Bava there. He does pay for it, but he's still on his feet trying to get some meds in. His teammate is down again.
Yeah, it's 44 Self is coming in from 4KT. And now he's just about to start cooking a nade now. He's pushing in. And he's slightly southwest of these guys. He can hear the nades and the shots going.
Yeah,
and he's coming to push.
4KT potentially coming in. Bava doing a great job managing to get his teammate up. He's managed to get some meds into himself. Down goes the molly. And these guys have got to be very careful. And drops down and manages to avoid getting taken out there. This is some great gun work from Bava here. But he has now, in turn, after all that great work, been knocked. And Nox is the last member of this up. Now in comes the third party fire from 4KT. Perfectly timed. That's Dead Boy taken out. Nox, sorry, taken out. So LMV ultimately proving victorious there, but they are now coming under some pressure from 4KT.
So LMV must be wondering what's going on. They've just cleared a team, and yet there are still nades raining all around them.
So that was an intense period of gunplay. These guys still north. Our circle has shifted again. So these guys have got to finish this one up and look to rotate. We've got teams coming close to each other in the south. Also in the east, we've got contact up just on the edge of zone. We're going to jump into that very quickly.
I think that was our last remaining member of Bitcoin was just taken out then. And that was by Armed Family.
Yeah, and they've got World of Wonders not too far away and getting straight back into it straight away. World of Wonders slightly with the high ground here. And boom, that was a nade. That took some chunks.
And once again, here we come with the other push. Another first aid in. Can he get the revive or is he going to go on the push? No, he's going to go on the push instead.
So he's going to try and get this cleared up now. The other member, and that was expensive, and he has now been taken out. So it looks like Sun HP here is the only member of, Sun HP, one of the only two members of this team now on his feet. Zessie looking desperately to try and get over there, but they haven't finished with this gunfight with our friends from Armed Family. Beautiful nade going in there. Luxor.
It's flushed Luxor out. That's exactly what he needed.
And cooking off another nade here. How's this going to be? Boom! Have some of that for breakfast. And that is a great piece of work coming in from Sun HP there. Beautiful nade. And hopefully he should be able to get the res on his two teammates. And maintain his position that they've actually got to the northeast of our next circle. So we've got a lot of teams mobile to the south and west all trying to come in, Jammy.
Yeah, it's going to get so congested in that south and west now. There aren't that many great positions in this zone. There are a couple of positions of hard cover, but, I mean, World of Wonders have got the northeastern side covered. Navi are heading in now. They're heading in towards centre zone, but they're also going to be joined by Respect as well, who make their way into the east. Blaze coming in from the south now. Then Night Target just to the west of them. Really congested on this southern side. Exile takes down Savian.
We got elements of squad number 8 there, winners of game number 1. That's Respect Esports. Looks like Blaze are getting into it. We're going to try and quickly get into it there. So we are here with Ketch from Blaze, and they're getting into it with Navi. Also elements of squad number 20, Night Target.
Yeah, so Ketch in a really bad position here. He's on the edge of the hill. He does have sort of a little bit of cover, but he's got Night Target to his south. He's got Navi to his north, and he's got Respect Esports to his east. And he's all on his own.
So there's an overlook on our current gunfight. Elements of Navi, Blaze, yeah, caught in the sandwich a little bit there. Night Target just off to the south. And that is some rounds going into Night Target. We've got Gun on the outskirts of this also. Blaze taking some rounds and has now in fact been taken out. But here comes a hard push from Gun here. Boom, straight into the vehicle. Here we go. And he drops 2 of them with that fantastic spray, coming straight up with a follow-on with the Uzi. That was a hell of a push from our friend G here.
It certainly was. They don't know what hits him. Well, they do. It was a bloody
And that is not the sort of snowman you want to see in the desert. And this lad is not finished. He's still pushing hard. And our friends from squad number 20 there really don't know what the hell hit him, because I don't think the rest of us do. That was violent.
It really was. That was a brilliant solo push.
Our friend Exile here, feeling very much like his name at this moment in time, somewhat cut off. Getting the nade out, trying to get to his teammate to get the res on. But you have to say, what a push from Gun there.
Yeah, fantastic push. We've seen them, but not a huge amount from Gun so far. Boy, was that important. Really, really aggressive work. Great individual skills as well.
And they're looking to clear this one up and establish a position just edge of circle here. They've managed to keep themselves together as a 4, which is important at this stage of the game. We are...
Yeah, phase 5 of the game, really important, as you say. Now, they're also putting shots to the north. Enlightened down to 1 player, just nasty remaining now, because his teammate was taken down by one of the players from Gun. So they're not only concentrating on the team right in front of them to the north, they're also looking what else is around. Enlightened getting involved with LMV, and in return they've also got 4KT coming in from the northwest.
Yep. Just trying to take a bit of an overview of this one, because it's coming thick and fast from all directions here. We've still got 2, remember, and here's a rotation coming in to the south from Gun. Now, are they looking to... But now they're taking some fire for it. One of the vehicles has been blown.
They made the decision they weren't going to get through Night Target, so they're going to go round. Good decision. They did at least decide to try and do something different.
But that is Night Target now effectively knowing that they've got guns to their rear and guns to their front, so it's a tough position for them. Making the best of it so far, overcomes the flashbang.
Unusual, especially in open ground, to see someone use the flashbang.
And that is a knock established, and that is Night Target taken out.
Great work. Now, what we see is World of Wonders, Team 4. They've actually moved their way gradually south. They've left Recent in the hard cover, but they've sent a couple of players in vehicles into centre zone.
So here with 4KT, they're getting right into it with a number of different squads. LMV, we've got elements of squad number 8, not too far away. World of Wonders, again, not too far away, but these guys find themselves out of zone, and our friend here dying desperately to get in. He ain't going to make it.
No, and I think his teammate's about to go down as well. There he goes. So, top 3, Enlighten, Gun, and World of Wonders. World of Wonders, they do have 3 players left, but they're in such a strong position. They've got Recent in hard cover, not in zone, but they do have 2 players in zone in the north, and Gun just making their way in now in the south, and it's nasty for the last remaining player from Enlighten.
So we're coming down the final stages of phase number 6. That is our general situation. We have 3 teams left alive. 7 players contesting at this point. We have 3 members of World of Wonders, 3 members of Gun, and one of the guys from Enlightened just out on the periphery there.
Yeah, he's got to try and make his way in, but he's in a really, really tough spot.
So Gun slightly outside of circle. World of Wonders establishing, but that is some rounds coming in, and World of Wonders taking some damage there. Gun putting in the hurt.
They are, and that helped Nasty as well. Nasty was taking shots from the World of Wonders team that just got knocked. So help Nasty out.
So Gun find themselves slightly out of circle here. World of Wonders trying to establish presence in circle, but it did cost them coming in. Nasty, Blue starting to push at him.
Yeah, Wolf in the vehicle start coming in.
And here comes the break forward. So Wolf, very aggressive push. Into circle, establishing himself a position in zone. Taking some fire from his flank.
Such a hard push to get into zone. There's just no cover for them.
Didn't
not
really
much in the topography either.
Didn't really have a lot of choice, poor fella. World of Wonders still establishing this strong presence on this high ground here. And looking to clear out this flank with Wolf, and they have indeed now done that. Wolf has been knocked.
And Nasty goes down for Enlightened, so it's a 2-squad finish.
And here we are with Judgy, who did that magnificent solo push earlier on that we so much enjoyed, but he's really coming under it. And you have to say that is going to be cleared up by our friends from World of Wonders. Fantastic zone control at the end there. And they take the win in game number 3. And wow, look at that kill count. That's what, 11, 14, 16 kills there for World of Wonders. Fantastic zone control at the end. Great play from our friends who came second. Gun, loving the push there, but ultimately having to take second place in that game with 11 kills, and in third, Enlightened. And they take that with 7 kills. So we've got a 6 and a 5 from World of Wonders there. I don't think we saw anything that's going to come close to approximating that. We've got a couple of 3s, a 4. Yeah, a few more 3s. Yeah, okay. So World of Wonders taking the win in game number 3. Joey and I will be back very, very shortly for a bit of post-game and intro into our final game of this evening. We will see you in just a few minutes. Bye for now. Okay, we're back, and yeah, fantastic stuff. Game number 3, very much carrying on the theme we've had in the evening. Interesting in the drop, we had about 4 teams straight into El Pozo. Only 2 players, I think, in the end, managing to get out of that one. We had a lot of isolated gunfights, a lot of teams landing very close to each other in early phases of play. Then a bit more of a tactical phase with rotations, and then coming into the final stages, some great gunplay, some great hilltop fighting, fantastic push by our friends from Gun. But ultimately, it all proved to be a bit too much of a push. And World of Wonders there closing it out with some great positional play at the top of the hill there, Jammy.
Breathe. Wow, that was intense. Like you said, some great early battles. 4 teams in El Pozo. Teams deciding they do want to drop together despite the size of the map. The early zone, not a hard shift, but hard enough that teams had to think about rotating. We saw some rotate early all the way up to the north. World of Wonders, our eventual winners, we saw them actually having a battle up on the northeastern side, didn't we?
Yep.
Because they had control of that side of the map then. There was no one else around them. They could just move with the blue. They could decide where they were going. And then when it came down to it, boy, did they control that final circle. And 16 kills. Even second place got 11 kills. So some really good gunfights from the top 3 there.
I have to say that push from Judgy or whatever. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing names. But that fat push straight into the side of the VW van there, out spray, out change out guns, Uzi spray. I mean, what a push! That really did us. I mean, they had to do it. They had to establish themselves into the circle. They were outside at that point. Coming in the final stages of play, there one of the guys from Gun had to make the decision to get himself a presence at least in circle. Did a hard push to the right flank. We're onto that one and cleared that one out. That made it a very difficult situation for the last 2 players coming in, while controlling the high ground with the player numbers, and that ultimately proved conclusive. But you have to say, with those sort of gun skills, I mean, it's always going to be a difficult one to call. But I think World of Wonders certainly did enough to establish their dominance in the final phases of play there.
Oh, certainly, yeah. They took control of that, and that was demonstrated not right at the end, but the little phase before the very end. They were in the hard cover. They were in zone. They had hard cover in the building. They didn't need to move. But what did they do? They sent 2 players into the centre of the zone. They recognised that actually there was a drop crate, centre zone, and there was a player, I think it was the last remaining player from Respect Esports, teammate, was still there by the crate. They knew that they had to try and take that centre zone just to establish that strategic dominance in zone. They didn't have to, but they chose to, and boy, did that work out for them.
Yep. So we've had some fantastic games 1 through 3, and was also very good from a streamer's point of view that we like to see. Different winners each game so far, so we'll see if that trend continues in our final match of the evening. We're back to Erangel for game number 4. We're just about loading into the lobby, and I've no doubt we're going to see more gratuitous violence and fun and games from you magnificent bunch of individuals.
Exactly, and as we mentioned before, what you often get on Erangel, where you play 2 games, is the second match is more aggressive than the first.
That'd be interesting to see, wouldn't it?
For those that didn't watch the first game, I'm not sure you could get much more aggressive.
Oh, I wouldn't put it past them, mate. They're all a bunch of violent thugs, this lot. That's why we love them.
I mean, unless every single team drops in Pachinki and goes for it in fist.
Nothing would surprise me at this point, buddy.
That is very true.
Okay, so we have our plane. Let's have a look at the flight line. And okay, and pretty benign again. We're going from west to east, ending up... That's actually not too dissimilar from game number 1, Jammy.
It's very similar, slightly more southern. Certainly the finish is south of Milton Power. It was slightly north of it before. Now, what that does, that brings in the military base a bit more into play. But it opens up the northern side. You know, there won't be as many teams dropping. Will we see a couple of, what do we have, 2 or 3 teams up in Yasnaya? We had 2 teams over in hospital. I know it looks like the same teams are heading up to George Pollen Hospital. LMV will be going down to Primorsk.
That's interesting because it didn't work out too well for footballers last time, as I recall.
No, they'll be looking for revenge. They haven't had a great night. You called it in game 3, actually. They haven't had the best night so far.
These guys coming down on top of each other again. So that is Night Target. Too far away from Footballists. They have managed to give themselves a little bit of separation on the drop now.
They have, but what's actually happened is you've got Navi have joined in.
Yeah, Navi looks too far away from this one. But so, looks like Footballists
jumped in the same position.
Footballists have managed to are actually in hospital on their own for the time being. Levason going out as a scout.
But then what you've got is NT and Night Target, who actually dropped with them at hospital last time. They've dropped slightly further away, and then Navi have dropped slightly to the southeast. Zone shifts, very similar. Sorry, it's the opposite zone to game one. We're going to the northeast.
And that is Footballists already coming under some pressure here. Some great scope work.
Taking the shots.
And Navi also now coming under some pressure. Some great tap fire from Zloy here.
But his kill was stolen by Footballists. You said they wanted a bit of revenge. Well, they've just stolen one of the kills. I think that's a good start for them.
Oh, that's fighting talk, that is, man. So, Footballists managed to get looted up and pushed out of hospital and now looking to establish contact with our friends from Night Target. Managed to take one kill.
And they're making their way out, just seeing where teams are. So, yeah, the zone is going to be centred just east of school. We do have our winners from Game 3. They're actually on their own in Yasnaya this time.
Okay, so that is...
it was Alpha they had with them before.
That's our general situation on the map. Our friends from Wildcats, they've dropped mill base again, actually. Now, let's have a quick look down here, because it looks like we've got a couple of teams pretty much on top of each other.
I think it looks like we're actually missing a team. Alpha, who joined World of Wonders up in Yasnaya in Game 1. It looks like they potentially... I don't think they've actually jumped in this game.
So here we are with S2G, and they're getting into it with our friends from Enlighten. Also got elements of Gun, who will contest in the final stages. Is that just a scout there, Jammy? No, we've got more players.
Yep, there's always more players.
There's always more players.
Yeah, Enlighten are actually right in the middle of this. So right between Gun and S2G. Not a great place you really want to be, surrounded by those two aggressive teams. And we saw how aggressive Gun can be with their push on Miramar, as you said.
So rounds being exchanged.
So Texi from Enlighten has already been taken down. They're down to a 3 now. Herb's in a great position up on top of the roof there.
Hasn't necessarily got the best weapons for a bit of roof work at this moment in time.
That is potentially true. Now, he's got to be careful looking over in one certain direction, because he's also got the players from the other team, and he's also got Nasty from Enlighten behind him as well.
And that's some rounds coming in. Looks like there's a push coming in from Guns here. Herbs uses that as his cue to start moving forward.
Judgy there is covering the off angle from Nasty.
Oh, and he's got a look here. Come on. And yeah, a couple of taps coming in. Oh, not quite managing to establish the knock, but certainly pushed him back a little bit. Okay, come on, not again. Yeah, you.
No,
we're back.
No, straight. Mine froze as well at the same time.
So these guys going big, or somebody's going home.
They certainly are, and Gun are really up for this. They didn't have a great couple of first games, but they were really buoyed by that good showing in game 3.
Unfortunately, Judgy pushed a little bit too far there, and he has in fact been taken out. And that is Wolf taking a bit of damage as he climbs over that wall there. So Gun not getting it their own way in this fight.
They're not taking a boost now. Do they know that Nasty is over on that roof still?
Yeah, because that's who Judgy was firing at, wasn't it?
It was. Yes, apologies. So Nasty just getting ready for these guys to peak a little too much.
Right, and a push coming now towards Nasty. Two fellas from Gun charging their way up the stairs. Straight fire out. Manages to put the hurt on one. But in turn, flank fired and taken out. That was a noble effort, my friend.
It was really, really good effort, but in vain, unfortunately. So...
and S2G looking at that as a cue to start pushing in.
Yeah, are they going to come in and try and sweep up here?
So that is one of our players. So Gun clearing up the knocked player. Still got goal
coming in.
Still got goal touch at the south here, potentially as a spoiler.
Yeah, Herbs is defending that 3-star. He was up on the roof. They did get a molly up onto him.
And beautiful shotgun work straight into the back of one of the S2G guys there. And he's doing it again. A shotgun to the backside often offends.
Certainly does. I mean, early game, what an effective weapon that is when people have got low armour, are a little bit beaten up.
So Herbs doing the business with the semi-auto shotty there. Loving a bit of semi-auto shotty work.
Just waiting for the next push.
I mean, I didn't think it was a bad call from S2G there. I mean, they knew that these guys were fighting with each other. They had the 3 players. Let's push. But wow, yeah, that Herb certainly put pay to that plan pretty quick.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think they did the right thing. They were just pretty much outgunned.
Oh, and that is the spoil that I was talking about earlier. So Herbs has now, in fact, gone down and has been thirsted up by goal touch from Enlightened, and his teammates are not going to be happy with that. Gun also
Boys,
now aware.
me.
Boys also now unaware. You have been taken off his Christmas card list, my friend. That is not. He is not going to be happy with that. If I were you, mate, I'd invest in some other real estate because you have made yourself very unpopular in this town.
Yep, I think it might be taxi for one.
Okay, so that is our situation. We've got a drop coming down and potentially looks like we might have a couple of people going for it. It'd be nice to see the conclusion of this fight, but we will jump away if we see action elsewhere.
We will. I'm just looking to see over on the map. A lot of teams fairly spread. We're still only phase 1, of course. And so teams are still doing a bit of looting. They're trying to establish their positions.
Oh, these fellas are not too far away from that crate. It did look like we had elements of BTC also potentially having a look at this one, so let's get into that.
Yeah, BTC just slightly north. They're on the slightly higher ground, having a good look at the moment, see what's about.
Join our friends footballers because it looks like they've just put the hurt on one of the guys from Navi and establishing a position on the bridge, which yeah, we know how tough a position this can be hold, but how effectively it can be worked if held successfully.
Yeah, they need to finish this quickly because the rest of Navi aren't too far away. They're actually between here and Watertown, down at the Ruins area. They're not under too much pressure, actually.
They've already established 4 kills, these fellas. They're looking desperately to get their 5th here.
Oh, down in the far south, we've got LMV and Fast Play Wildcats. Down in the far south, Wildcats have just come over from Millie Base. LMV rotated in from Primorsk, and they met just by the Western Bridge.
And that is great work from Quail there from Wildcats. He's managed to put one on Dead Boy.
So looks like Vench is the one that's trying to get up close and personal with them. Nades absolutely raining down on LMV here as the Wildcats try and push past these rocks. Good defensive position for LMV.
You get dizzy following these fellas, don't you?
Oh, man.
Right, and out comes a strafing fire, backed up by his teammate.
Oh,
Goes for the jump shot, doesn't quite make it. So Quail, the only member of Wildcats, still up on his feet at this moment in time. And he's going to be getting into it with Perks. And oh my word, Perks, how did you survive that one? And he clears him up with the M4 spray. Great work from Quail there.
That was, wow, that was close. Kral just so nearly misjudged that. And we saw that Vench actually is the one, he's on about half health now. He jumped down, but he went just slightly too far and ended up down the side of the cliff.
That was a great piece of work there. So great individual gun skills on display. But we have not finished yet, boys and girls. We're starting to see a lot of players coming into the central part of the circle, south of the river. Interesting to see where our next circle pops. Teams rotating in.
Really popular compounds in that centre zone area, and they've been taken by Blaze, WoW, and 4KT. So if anyone wants to come into centre zone, they're going to have to take the compound off them.
And we know that, yeah, these guys really do. They just don't like giving up their real estate, do they, Jammy?
Absolutely not. They will fight with the nail for it.
So here we are with Cheetah. Looks like his teammates have been coming under some pressure from elements of squad number 8, our winners of game 1, Respect Esports. So Surreal Esports.
Oh, Beast just flashing across the windows. Then Cheetah just trying to get him to hold still for a second so he can get a spray into him.
But managing to get a quick look at the two guys on the flank there.
And coming in from behind, we've got Navi coming down from the north across the plains from Watertown. Navi coming in behind Surreal Esports.
And our friend here is potentially getting pushed on. He knows it. He's trying to get the nades out. He's putting up a damn good fight of it, but he's getting flanked from all sides. He's not down yet, and he manages to establish a knock on one, but ultimately cleared out. That was a great final fight, my friend. But ultimately, team number 8 proving too strong there.
Was, and then the red zone coming in very close, the bombs there. Navi decided not to come in on the further push. Now, on the bridge west of Gastanaya, we've got Bitcoin holding position on the east of the bridge. On the west of the bridge, we've got footballists.
Yep. So this is what we were talking about earlier. These bridge positions, especially when you're not certain if it's going to pop north or south, can be absolutely vital when you get phases like this on Aaron Gould. These guys know it, and some beautiful tap fire coming in. That puts a knock on one of the footballers players. So
how are they going to come in? Is it Sulkay that's going to go over the road and get the revive, or the other teammate?
So rounds coming in towards Sulkay there. Okay, so Lutz from Footballist crashing in hard to attempt to get to his teammate, which I think he has now. We've also got elements of World of Wonders not too far away from this.
They're definitely going to be hearing what's going on. They can just about see what's going on nearly, but not quite. In fact, World of Wonders are now putting in some shots down into Bitcoin. They can see them in the petrol station. So they've got a slight split here. We've got Sun HP and Zessie in the hardcover. And then in the woods just to the west of them, they've got Recent and Enjoy.
These guys also...
and Enjoy in the woods on the high ground just to our right. They're the ones that are putting the shots into Bitcoin.
Yeah, but they're also more than aware they've got elements of Blaze off to their left flank.
zone shifts. We are going to be centred around school for the next phase of this match. Now, what that means is footballists are coming over the bridge towards Bitcoin. Now, they're going to have to push in past World of Wonders.
So we are here with footballers. One of the footballers team has made his way across the other side of the bridge. That's Soulgate.
So he's in there trying to do a bit of spoiling work, get that angle, try and get round so he can see them in the gas station there.
We've got a bit of a spread for our teams coming in. That's Wildcats coming in from the south. We've still got elements of Gun down in the south there. Navi also still there, but looks like this one's coming to a head.
Footballists on the push now to Bitcoin.
And RP doing some great work in the south there, just to clear up their phase, their circle of play. These guys now flying themselves slightly out of circle, so this has to be resolved.
It does. All but one of the footballists are across the side now. Levatsin has managed to get south of Bitcoin. He's in the sniper tower, so he's actually got a good look at them. They've got them surrounded here, footballists. And it is from that southern position in the sniper tower. He's the one putting the shots in now. They've taken shots from all angles. Bitcoin. They're under a huge amount of pressure.
Yeah, Bitcoin now coming under it. And the guys from football is pretty much establishing an all-round presence on these guys. They've managed to establish a knock. And you'd have to say, especially with these guys being out of circle, they really do need to push into this one hard now.
They are. Look at this pressure they're putting on. They're coming in on the push now. They're getting up close and personal.
Here comes the push. Our friend here, Peaky, doing his very, very best. No helmet, doing his very, very best to get the res on his teammate.
Football is circling them like sharks. Molly comes in, the nades come in, the smoke dissipates.
And footballers seem to be quite content to put these guys under an immense amount of pressure without actually having to push in. Now we've got Lutz there, just the other side of the wall. In comes the flanking fire. So Pete, you've got to say, footballers really need to put an end to this now and start getting into circle.
Yeah, exactly what you say. They've got to get it done now. They've got 2 knocks established. They need to get this finished.
And that is the guys from footballers. They're doing the business. Now they've got 1 knocked. They are now in the blue. It's phase 4 play, so they need to get medded up and get into circle as fast as possible. We are looking at our... Yeah, looking at our situation. We've got elements of RP coming into the south now. We've still got Wildcats also there, and Qlash establishing a presence centre zone with Blaze.
They have so Blaze in the apartment, Qlash on the hillside overlooking the apartments. Good strong position there, I like that. They're centre zone, there is slight cover there, and they do have a bit of high ground. So, who have we got? The Wildcats down in the south, along with Gun. Gun are on the top of the hill south of school, so they are in zone. They don't have to move, but it's not a very good strategic position, so they're going to come down the hill. They're coming round to the west. They're going to be coming past the Wildcats, and in between Wildcats and Qlash.
So we've got Blaze and Qlash establishing presence in zone. We've got WoW now looking to rotate. Footballists managed to make the way into circle now.
So, yeah, so Qlash holding a nice centre zone. Footballers coming from that northeastern side. Navi Old Boss is taken down with the Respect team holding their position in the compound they've had for some time now.
Yeah, they've been holding this for a little while. So here with the guys from Respect, they managed to notch up 4 kills. And they find themselves in a strong position in this compound.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see where the next phase goes because they've been in this compound for some time. They've managed to hold off a couple of attacks so far.
And Kitsune there, I think, doing some business. He is a sole surviving member of his team, looking to get his vehicle and rotate in. As is everybody else. So
wow, just south of them.
So yeah, everybody establishing themselves a presence so far. And looks like World of Wonders are getting into it with footballists. Looks like Zezzy has been knocked. Now getting pushed on by the blue. We are phase 5 of the game. Now not too far to rotate for these guys, but rotate they must.
Yeah, as I say, Lutz has been knocked.
Ha, Vikendi, nice, like it. Okay, so here comes a rotation from World of Wonders, attempting to get a teammate there. 1 footballist has been killed, 1 knocked.
And this is right on.
And here come World of Wonders now with a very hard push.
Oh.
And that is, yeah, fantastic. But that was some third-party work coming in from our friends from Blaze, who are now getting into it. And, yeah, we've got lots of people all now trying to come into this circle of play. And now we've got elements of Wildcats also trying to come into this circle at the top here. Taking some damage as they're going around.
Yeah, and Blaze Ketch making his way into zone. He's left Korchera to make his own way in. They're trying to establish positions here. They're using whatever they can. Box trees, vehicles, smoke, anything. Really, really difficult because they've also got Qlash from their position that they established early.
So that is our situation on the ground. We are down to 8 teams left alive, 22 people contesting. We are 15 seconds away from phase number 6 in game number 4. Our final game of Qlash Pro Scrims. And, yep, be a brave man who call it now.
Absolutely a word. I mean, we've seen how good these teams are individually. We've seen that they can pull it out the bag when they need to. So, yeah, I'm not going to call who's going to take strategic positions, edge of zone, centre zone. I'm not going to be able to call this one.
And that's
I do like to, but I can't on this one.
And there's still some fast rotations going on. Navi just trying to, Kitsune trying to come in there, but taken out, I think, by RP. 4KT are establishing themselves in circle. Blaze starting to move forward. Qlash trying to maintain this small ridge of cover they have here, which they've done very well so far in the game. But our next phase, our next circle has broken. And that has worked out well for Gun and RP. Everybody else is now going to have to move. And you can see how chaotic it is in there, boys and girls. You'll be a brave person to try and call this one.
Yeah, what a nade that was that just took out the last remaining player from Gun. So Gun don't go down in 7th place. And it's RP, it's Respect. They're the ones holding zone at the moment on that western side. They've rotated in. They've got a lovely spread. They've got Beast covering the north. They've got Archon covering the south. And the other 2 are covering that central area.
So Beast getting the nades in towards Blaze, towards...
So Ketch from Blaze is taken out by that nade of Beast. He cooked it perfectly, dropped it right onto the head of Ketch. And his 2 teammates aren't in zone to come and support him. And he's going to be bleeding out very, very soon.
So RP doing a great job so far, but yeah, so many players left around them as we come into our final stages of play for our last match here on Erangel. World of Wonders trying desperately to try and get in, but they're coming in under fire from all kinds of directions. Lots of fire coming in from Qlash. Now Qlash's location has been compromised, so they now have to go for a very hard rotation coming in.
Get past Blaze. Blaze putting in the shots to everybody that comes near them at the moment.
Some great work coming in from Qlash. Trazen there. He puts the work into Blaze. He's now putting some work into World of Wonders. But our friends...
Wonders go down in 4th place, so it's Qlash. Sorry, no, they don't. Apologies, they're still going. Enjoy still going. It's Qlash, Respect, and World of Wonders.
And you have to say, Respect holding this high ground. They've got position in circle. They very much seem to be in control of this. We're still only phase 6 of the game, but it feels like it's a lot...
Look how
later on,
Respect are being. They are pushing into centre zone. They're controlling it. They're making sure that they are coming down as a wave down the hill.
So our friends from Respect here, controlling this, making it very, very difficult for anybody to come in. Our two players from Qlash trying desperately to establish a presence back in here. Enjoy from World of Wonders also trying to do so, but they're just facing a barrage from these 4 guns from Respect Esports here.
Yeah, actually with some great work with the nades, just trying to flush out the player Enjoy from World of Wonders. They've also got Qlash just further down the hill slightly. So can they control this zone and take home the final chicken dinner of the evening?
So they've almost got a 2-2 split coming on, so they've got some defence in depth. Archon now looking for a quick rotation to bolster up that position. Jetjo getting too far forward and has been knocked by 2 of the guys from Qlash. And we're down to the final stages now.
It's only Aza left who can hold them off. Can he do it? He's a solo player now. His teammate has been knocked. So, it's a meter from zone.
Meter from zone manages to get himself in, but ultimately that was a great burst of fire coming in. And our winners of game number 1 take the win in game number 4. Again, fantastic zone control. And you have to say, a very exciting conclusion to a very exciting night of scrims. So we're going to go through that because I've got that gunfire going off in my ear. Right, so our winners are RP Respect Esports. They take 1st place with 13 kills. In 2nd place, our hosts for the evening. That is Qlash. They take 2nd with 6. And in 3rd, our winners of game number 3, World of Wonders. They come in 3rd with 3 kills. We're going to get off that sound in my ear. Thank you very much indeed.
I think that might have dropped you out of the game. But what I'll do is I will run through the scores there. So, as you said, it was Respect in 1st place with 13 kills, 6 for Beast, 4 for Archon, and then Qlash in 2nd place with 6 kills. In 3rd place, it was World of Wonders with 3 kills. In 4th place, it was 4KT. 5th, it was Blaze. 6th, it was the Wildcats. 7th, it was Gun. 8th, Navi. 9th, Footballists. 10th, Bitcoin. 11th, Surreal. In 12th, LMV. 13th, it was Enlighten. 14th, it was S2G. In 15th, it was oh crikey, AL. Sorry, my team list has just disappeared. Give me a second. Alpha. No, not Alpha Legend, was it? Was it Armed Family?
Yeah. Well, we don't have to run through, we don't need to necessarily run through the whole thing. But
16th and 17th, it was NT.
Yeah. So, I mean, fantastic conclusion in game number 4. We didn't end up with 4 different winners. With our friends from Respect Esports taking the win in game number 4, as they did on this map in game number 1, funnily enough. I mean, what a fantastic evening of scrims, Jammy. I mean, that game just almost didn't stop. I couldn't believe when we were looking at it at the end and it was getting with that ridiculous huge gunfight in the open field there. We were still only phase 6 of play.
Exactly, it was a relatively big zone for that few teams. What a control of zone that was.
Yeah, well,
We say it quite often.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it is a theme. I mean, if you're keeping your guns in the game and you're controlling zone that well coming into the late stages of the game, I mean, you are massively increasing your odds of winning. There is no doubt about it. But I mean, we saw, for example, the Sarnot game this evening. Blaze established that there in Camp Charlie and ultimately losing out to Wildcats, coming in with that very aggressive push. So. It's a tactic that does work very often, but sometimes against very effective play, as we saw in game number 3, that can be challenged and challenged successfully. Anyway, boys and girls, we're going to quickly tie this one up this evening. It's been a really fantastic night of scrims. What would be, you're going to have difficulty choosing this week, my friend, but what's going to be your favourite night of the favourite moment of the night?
I have to say, I really enjoyed the in the Miramar game, that push from the player from Gun. I think it was Wolf, was it?
Judgy.
Gudgy, sorry.
Yeah.
Gudgy. And it was to start with, it was a solo push. And boy, was it aggressive. Came in the vehicle. He upset the players that were behind the other vehicle. He just knocked them out of the way. And then straight in with the guns, switching guns. Really, really good work. But there was also, in the first Erangel game up in Yasnaya, there was a player, there was a 2v4, and one of those two got a squad wipe to take it.
Yeah. That was certainly good. Yeah, thanks for stealing the best moments of the night, because I don't know what I'm going to say now. I mean, honestly, I loved. Those two absolutely fantastic moments. I loved the. If I was going to pick. There was certainly some great nade work on the Miramar game. I must admit, I do apologise. I've forgotten the name of the player, but the beginning of that game, the great shotgun work there, and the spoiler from Enlighten, who made himself very unpopular in that town. The semi-auto shotty work to clear up S2G, who were pushing in, who I think made exactly the right call, but S2G pushed in, and they were. Very effectively taken out by the shotty work there. That was fantastic. So that was a fun one. Anyway, boys and girls, I'm going to wrap this one up. I want to say thanks to our hosts for this evening, Qlash, and also obviously they'll be publishing their results to see who's going to pick up the €50 prize money for this evening. Thank you very much to the great boys and girls over there for running and organising such a fun scrim. Thank all the players. Obviously, without you guys, we don't really have a lot to cover, and you made it very, very exciting this evening. Obviously, got to thank my fantastic co-host, Jammy. Absolutely brilliant as always, mate. Well done.
Loved it. Really, really good night of scrims. Well done, mate. And you're some interesting viewer figures, I think, when you go back and have a look at that one.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. So, hope to be back streaming for you guys again, because if you keep it that exciting, you're going to have to fight me off. And I'm a feisty little sod when I get going. So, fantastic evening, boys and girls. It's been an absolute pleasure to stream for you this evening. From Jammy Gaming and myself, Vimes17 Gaming. Thank you all. Have a good evening. And as always, good hunting. And bye for now.